Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hi there. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Brigida. Thanks for being on this morning, guys. How are you all?
Awesome.
Good.
Fabulous.
I'm so excited today. Thank you, Sarah, for being our special guest today. I'm so excited. I was just rereading your story again. It's very powerful, and I'm excited to have you share it with everybody. I feel like a lot of people go through very similar emotions, and to share our stories and our fears and be vulnerable to everybody, I feel like it gives everybody else permission to feel safe to also do the same, either with us or with someone else or with themselves. So thank you so much for being on today and sharing that. I'll let you take over, and I think you want to tell your story. You want to read your story to us and then tell some other experiences?
Absolutely, and thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be on and share. It's certainly outside of my comfort zone, but I'm happy to share. If it helps somebody out there, I figured it's worth it, right?
Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so just a little bit of context and background behind the writing of this story. It was an assignment that was given within another group that I'm a part of. And the assignment was to sort of give some personification to a fear that you have and sort of turn it into a monster that you then battle and conquer. So that was the assignment. And this is the story. So I'll just read the story, and then I'd love to talk a little bit about some experiences around that.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And I wrote this in the third person, so it's a little bit weird. But
no, it's great. I love it. I've read it a few times now, and it's wonderful.
Okay, so here it goes. Sarah woke up in a sweat. Sitting straight up, she grabbed her chest as she realized she had just been delivered a beautiful gift. A message she received in her dream was fresh on her mind as she felt an intense need to share it. I know what to do, she said, as if there was someone there to hear her. I know how to kill the monster. You see, Sarah had been fighting a battle for many years. She fought a She fought a monster that seemed impossible to kill. She had tried every technique, used every weapon she could imagine. She even hired a hitman, and the monster still lived. She had been feeling defeated and was beginning to believe that this monster was indestructible. She had almost given up. In fact, she was on the verge of accepting this monster as just being part of who she was. She had almost bought into the idea that this monster was indeed she. On this day, as she sat up out of bed, she knew without a smidgen of uncertainty in her mind that today the monster would die. Victory was near. She could taste it. She had the answer. She finally knew the secret to kill the monster. The monster's name was uncertainty. It had ruled Sarah's life since she was a little girl. I'm sorry, did I say uncertainty? It's unworthiness.
Mm-hmm.
It had ruled Sarah's life since she was a little girl. It caused her to live in isolation and fear. It was insidious. It had 1,000 faces and could fool her and everyone else into thinking it was good for her, that it was a necessary evil. Sarah knew how deceiving this monster was, and she wanted so badly to be rid of it. But every time she attempted to kill it, somehow it would escape. As I mentioned before, she tried many methods of destruction, and none proved successful. Unworthiness was cunning, baffling, and powerful. Today, however, she knew the monster would die. The message she received in her dream gave her clear instructions on how to kill the monster. It was a strategy she had not yet considered. I lost my place. The messenger in her dream told her clearly, "You must starve the monster." Starve the monster? She had not pondered the thought of starving the monster. She knew what the monster fed on. The monster fed on fear. Without its food, the monster would die. Sarah was surprised at the level of certainty she had that the monster would die. The messenger had given her a hint on how to starve the monster. The messenger told Sara that the way to get out of fear and starve the monster was to let go. Sara intuitively knew what this meant. You see, she had spent her entire life fighting this battle with the monster. She was tired and had tried everything she could think of to kill the monster. Her dream and the messenger helped her to see that her thinking and trying was not going to help. She needed something bigger than her. She needed to get out of the way. She needed to surrender and let that power that was greater than her take over. She knew this power existed, but she had been cut off from it for so long. It wasn't that the power wasn't there, but that she had lost access to it. She needed to access this power again if she was going to starve the monster, because on her own, she just could not do it. Sara's journey to victory began with a single decision to surrender. She decided that she would get out of the way and let her soul take the lead. In this small act of surrender, her whole story turned around. Before, she had to fight so hard. Not anymore. Now, when the monster reared its ugly head, Sara just watched. She did nothing. She didn't look it in the face, and she didn't run away. She didn't decide that it meant some profound thing about her. She just watched. The monster didn't know how to handle this new Sara. It tried every trick it could think of to get a rise out of her, but nothing worked. Sara just remained present and content to do nothing. The monster knew it was in for it and would likely die if it couldn't get Sara to react. Again, it tried to trick her by telling her lies she used to believe. Sara remained calm. She watched as the thoughts from the monster came in, and she watched as they turned to dust and blew away. They had no power. She didn't have to act. She was in control. The unworthiness monster died that day. It was starved to death. It would never again hold any power over Sara, as she now knew that she was in charge of her own beliefs. She was powerful beyond measure because she was hooked up to an unlimited source. She didn't have to ever feel alone again because it was impossible for her to ever be alone. She had all the power of the universe behind her. She was born worthy, and nothing could take that from her.
Wow. So powerful. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So before we go on and talk about that, I think you want to share some other real life experiences, and then we can have a chat about the whole thing if you like.
Yeah, absolutely. So this was a fun exercise. I mean, it was so powerful for me to actually put that out onto paper. Mm-hmm. And it really helped me to work through some other issues that I had been experiencing. And so a real life example of this monster kind of running my life was an experience that I've been having, that I had been having before I did this assignment. And doing this assignment really helped me to move past this experience and really see why I was experiencing the pain that I was experiencing. So I wanted to share that with you guys. And it was it's kind of a place of vulnerability because, looking at it now, I just want to kind of laugh at myself a little bit because it was a really silly thing, but I think it's a good example of how we can sometimes let our fears or insecurities come out and give them power over our lives that we don't necessarily need to do. And that was my experience. So what happened was I have a very good friend who I had gotten really close to over the past 6 months. And him and I were working together on a number of projects. And I got really excited about a project that I wanted to do and reached out to him. And I was really, now looking back, I realized that my motive behind reaching out to him was I wanted validation. I wanted him to tell me that I was doing the right thing, that I was, okay, that I was capable of doing it. I was really searching for worthiness. And I didn't get it. I mean, I literally got nothing back from him. No response, no messages, no texts. And I really, I took it in, and I gave it all of this meaning about what his opinion, which I don't even know what was, right? Because there was no communication, but of course I gave it all of this meaning. I said, oh, he doesn't think I'm worthy. He, doesn't want to associate with me, all of this dialogue. And, it's just silly now when I look at it, because, I'm so grateful to him that he was being a good friend to me. Because what I needed to realize was that I have to believe in myself, and that I have to decide, what I'm going to do based on my own fire and my own heart, not based on what other people maybe think. So this was a really good example of just coming back into my own power and realizing that it's my choice as to what I decide things mean.
Right.
And so I needed to share that with everyone, because I had been holding on to it, and holding on to it caused me to experience more pain, because I didn't let it out, and I didn't let it move through me. Right. And so when I finally let it go, I was able to see the lesson, and I was able to rise above it and just be grateful.
Yeah.
And so,
amazing.
yeah.
Amazing. That's such a great story. I want to share with you that I just had an experience yesterday, actually, which is very similar. And so I want to reiterate to everybody that we all go through this, and no matter what level we are at our growth. I've been working very, very, very hard for a number of years at my growth, and, not taking things personally, and recognizing my worthiness and all of that. And I still had that trigger yesterday. But some project that I was working on, or so much pressure and details yesterday on this project, and so many different people involved. I was bringing a large number of people together, and it was a business project, all the lawyers and investors, everything. It was a really high pressure day, and a number of things happened that triggered me to feel unworthy and not good enough. And what I did yesterday, I felt was so different, and it's exactly what you're talking about. Normally that would get a hold of me, and it would hold on to me for, quite a while. And as soon as I felt it, it felt so foreign to me, because I have been working so hard, that I immediately recognized it. I just sort of stepped back from it. I observed it. I said, you know what? This is fear causing me to feel like I have no value. And that doesn't make any sense, because I know it's not true. So whereas before it would have had a tight hold on me, I've been practicing just allowing myself to feel it, and just observe it and let it go. And I recovered almost instantly. Not instantly, but I would say within about an hour. I really put it in its place. I got myself up. I did something else to make myself feel good, but I didn't ignore it or suppress it. I was like, okay, I feel like I don't have enough value. That's not real. That's just the fear from all these external things coming at me. And no matter what happened, it's about how I feel about myself. And none of those behaviors of anyone else are personal. It's all, it was a big high pressure day, and everybody has their own fears. So they behave in their own ways. It has nothing to do with the fact whether, I'm doing a good job at pulling everyone together or have value or anything. So it was right on target with exactly what you're talking about. It's perfect timing for us to be able to share this together. And I guess the big message there for me to everyone is how you're saying you had this story and you had this dream, and it helped you to conquer this unworthy monster. So that helps you to elevate to a higher level, and we can continue practicing staying at that level and that being our new home. But to be ready that sometimes you still get triggered back to that. And it's okay. It happens to all of us. And just be like, okay, this is just a trigger. This is just temporary. It's not real, and just observe it, allow yourself to feel it, and it fades away so much faster when you do that, rather than trying to fight it and suppress it, pretend it's not happening. So I really wanted to share that with the group. I hope that's valuable to everyone as well.
Yeah, and I just want to thank you for using the word trigger, because that was what I needed to kind of learn, was that it was a trigger. And so often usually what we're upset about has nothing to do with what happened. It's usually something else. And that was certainly the case. It was something else, and it was something that I decided a long time ago. It took me back to that place. The beauty is I was able to work through that, and now just have this great lesson from it. So I'm really grateful.
Yeah, and when you say it has nothing to do with the event, I can physically feel there's I would say 2 or 3 main things that have happened through my life. We all have a number of things, but there's a few like pivotal things that happened in my life that make me feel like I have no value. And so when something happens, like whatever was happening yesterday was a normal process. It was, was a lot of pressure and very hectic, but it was just part of what I do. So, but as soon as that feeling came, those incidents from my past are all I see. So it's so clear that it's just a trigger. It's not real. It has nothing to do with what's happening at that moment. It's all of a sudden those memories of those things that made you feel unworthy, they come flooding back into your mind. So it makes it so obvious that it's really not about what's going on at that moment.
Right.
So thank you so much for sharing. And look how many people we have on. I'm so happy. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Beth. So, hi. So some of you missed the beginning. Sarah shared her story that she had written. But would anybody like to speak and share about anything they've heard or their own experiences? No, Brenda's saying no. Okay, no problem. So this was really exciting. I'm so happy to see so many of you on. I know a few of you came on late, so maybe what I'll do is send the reminder a little bit earlier. I hope this is a good time for everybody, the 7 a.m. Eastern. I think it probably fits. And from this, if any of you feel like you have something you want to share and you would like to be a guest speaker, just let me know. We can chat about it ahead of time. And I really love that we're bringing such great content to the group and being completely vulnerable, because I feel like we all need that, so that we can feel safe to share our own fears, because together we're going to be able to get through it all. So thank you so much, Sarah, for being on as the guest today.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Okay, if nobody else has anything they want to share, then we can end the call. And I'm going to put the video on the group. Oh, that's nice, Beth. Thank you. So proud of you, Sarah. That's awesome. I'll put the video on the group so that you guys can rewatch it. Some of you that came in late, you can watch it and see Sarah's story. It was really great. And of course, for all the other members, that they can watch it. And we'll see you all next Wednesday at 7 a.m. Eastern.
All right. Bye. Thank you.
Have a wonderful day. Thanks, guys.